Judges couldn't stop crying. Poor boy sings Hotel California beautifully. It was a warm summer evening in Los Angeles, and the crowd inside the talent show studio buzzed with anticipation. Bright stage lights danced across the floor, reflecting off polished instruments and nervous eyes. Backstage, 15-year-old Ethan stood alone, clutching a beat-up acoustic guitar with strings that had been replaced more times than he could count. His hands trembled, not from fear of the audience, but from the weight of everything that had brought him here. Ethan hadn't come from much. He lived in a small trailer with his mother, who worked double shifts as a waitress just to keep the lights on. His father had left when he was 5, leaving nothing behind except a crumpled note and a broken promise. Music became Ethan's refuge, a way to drown out the arguments from neighbors, the sound of overdue bills being discussed at the kitchen table, and the loneliness that sometimes felt unbearable. He had taught himself to play the guitar from YouTube videos, using an old instrument he'd found at a yard sale for $10. When Ethan's music teacher, Mrs. Sanders, heard him humming Hotel California in the back of the classroom one afternoon, she froze. "Ethan," she whispered, "you need to share that voice with the world." She was the one who secretly signed him up for the talent show auditions, even paying the entry fee herself. Now, standing in the wings, Ethan felt the pressure of the moment pressing down on him. "Number 46, you're on," a stagehand said. He swallowed hard, walked out into the blinding spotlight, and faced the panel of judges, 3 world-renowned entertainers whose faces were instantly recognizable. The host asked for his name and story, but Ethan simply said, "I just hope my music can make someone feel less alone." The first soft strums of Hotel California floated through the air. His voice was gentle at first, almost hesitant, but within seconds, something shifted. The notes grew richer, the words deeper, carrying with them the raw emotion of someone who had lived through more than most kids his age. His tone wasn't just technically perfect, it was full of truth, pain, and beauty. Halfway through the song, the audience went silent. You could hear a pin drop. One judge's eyes glistened, her hand covering her mouth as if afraid to breathe too loudly. Another judge leaned forward, elbows on the table, completely captivated. And in the very back row, a man in a suit, someone who had been scrolling on his phone moments earlier, was now frozen, eyes locked on the boy. Ethan didn't notice any of it. For those few minutes, he wasn't in a talent show. He was on the road in a desert sunset, lost in the haunting story of the song, pouring every ounce of his soul into each lyric. His mother's tired smile, the nights they went without heat, the way Mrs. Sanders believed in him when no one else did, it was all there in his voice. When he sang the final, "You Can Never Leave," the last note hung in the air like a prayer. There was a heartbeat of silence, and then, the room erupted. The audience leapt to their feet, cheering and clapping as tears rolled down more than a few faces. The judges didn't even glance at one another, they all slammed their hands down on the golden buzzer at the same time. Golden confetti rained from above, sticking to Ethan's hair and guitar strings. His eyes widened in disbelief as the host rushed over, hugging him tightly. One judge, still wiping tears, took the microphone. "Ethan, I've heard Hotel California 1,000 times in my life, but tonight, you made it yours. You made it real. And you made all of us feel something we didn't even know we needed." Ethan tried to speak, but his voice cracked. I just wanted my mom to see me do something good." The cameras cut to his mother in the audience, her hands covering her mouth as she sobbed. She had been standing since the first chorus, pride and love radiating from her like a spotlight of its own. Mrs. Sanders was beside her, clapping through her own tears. After the show, backstage chaos swirled, producers talking about contracts, journalists wanting quotes, but Ethan slipped away to find his mom. She wrapped him in the kind of hug that only a mother can give, whispering, "You didn't just make me proud, baby, you gave people hope." In the days that followed, Ethan's performance went viral. Strangers from all over the world sent messages, some saying the song reminded them of lost loved ones, others saying his voice had given them the courage to face their own struggles. A retired soldier in Texas wrote, "Kid, you saved me tonight. I was ready to give up, and then I heard you sing." Ethan didn't win the show, not in the traditional sense. But he won something greater. The knowledge that his gift could heal hearts, including his own. And with the help of donations from people who believed in him, he was able to buy a new guitar, enroll in music school, and set up a small fund for kids who couldn't afford instruments. Looking back, Ethan would later say that the real magic wasn't the golden buzzer, the standing ovation, or even the viral fame. It was the moment he realized that music, like kindness, could travel further than he ever could, touching people he would never meet, in ways he might never understand. And somewhere, in a little trailer on the edge of town, his mother still kept the old yard sale guitar in the corner, strings worn and body scratched, as a reminder that sometimes the smallest beginnings lead to the loudest songs.